All right. So you sent us minutes from this forest parliament thing.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it's not your typical political debate.
Yeah.
Animals arguing about human impact.
Yeah, very unique.
Definitely color me intrigued.
What I think is really cool about this is that it's like,
Yeah.
it flips the script, you know? Instead of us reading another human-centric
Mm.
report on this stuff, we get to see it through the eyes of the creatures that are like directly affected by our actions.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of accountability.
And this cast of characters.
I know, right?
You got beaver and squirrel and badger.
That's a good mix.
Foxy owl, raccoon. Even a lion makes an appearance.
Yeah.
It's like a political drama, but with fur and feathers instead of suits.
Yeah. And, you know, each animal kind of like
Right.
represents a different facet of the forest ecosystem. So
Interesting.
their needs and concerns really highlight
Yeah.
how interconnected everything is
Yeah.
and how even like small changes can have ripple effects across the whole thing.
So let's dive into the minutes then.
Sounds good.
Minister Beaver kicks things off.
Uh-huh.
And he sounds pretty frustrated
Yeah.
about human construction. All
Right.
this, like dams and roads and stuff.
Yeah, he makes a good point, you know, like
Yeah, disrupting the water flow.
disruptions to these natural water systems can lead to
Go
all
on.
sorts of unintended consequences.
Like what kind of stuff?
I mean, you think about increased flooding,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
habitat loss,
Mm-hmm.
even like changes in local climate patterns.
Oh, really?
You know, humans might not see those connections,
Yeah, that's true.
but these minutes, they force us to confront them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So then Minister Squirrel chimes in.
Yeah.
And not so much to sympathize with Beaver,
Right.
but more to point out how all the deforestation
Uh-huh.
is impacting his own, like, acorn supply.
Makes sense.
He makes this point about the balance of nature,
Mm-hmm.
how one species loss
Yeah.
can trigger a chain reaction.
And it's true. It's like
Yeah.
these ecosystems operate on thin margins, you know?
Yeah.
Take, for example, like the decline of oak trees in some parts of the world.
Right.
It's linked to everything from shrinking bird populations to
Wow.
a decrease in soil fertility, and that impacts
Yeah.
the whole forest, you know?
The whole community.
Yeah. What might seem like a small change to us
Right.
can have this huge impact on this
Wow.
intricate web of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Minister Badger
Yeah.
adds to these concerns,
Uh-huh.
talking about damage to, like, underground systems.
Yeah.
He actually calls it a
Right.
national security issue, which is
A little dramatic.
kind of adorable,
Yeah.
but also,
But I get his point.
yeah, thought-provoking.
It highlights how important
Oh, yeah.
soil integrity is.
Okay.
You know, we think about it as just the dirt under our feet,
Right.
but it's this complex ecosystem that supports plant life,
Oh, wow.
filters water.
Mm-hmm.
It even helps regulate the climate.
Really?
Yeah. So when humans disrupt that,
Okay.
it weakens the whole foundation of the forest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Things get interesting, though, when Minister Fox kind of challenges
Yeah.
the severity of these concerns.
Right.
He actually points the finger at the deer population,
Interesting.
argues that their overgrazing is a far bigger threat
Okay.
than anything humans are doing.
Now, this is where I think the deep dive gets really interesting.
Right.
It's not just about assigning blame.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the complexities of
Yeah.
ecological cause and effect.
Right.
Is the overgrazing like the root problem?
Yeah.
Or is it a symptom of something else?
Yeah.
You know, maybe human activities are messing things up.
Okay.
Like you think about habitat fragmentation
Right.
or like eliminating natural predators.
Yeah.
And that could be disrupting the deer population's natural controls.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure.
Well, and that's exactly what Minister Deer argues. He blames humans for overhunting their predators
Yeah.
and building fences that restrict their migration patterns.
Mm.
It's all connected.
And that's a perfect example of
Okay.
what ecologists call trophic cascades.
Okay.
You take out a top predator, like wolves, and suddenly there were way too many deer.
Right.
So then they overgraze, and that impacts the plants,
Right.
the soil,
Wow.
the whole food web.
It's amazing.
It shows how these, like, seemingly isolated human actions can just cascade through the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as things are getting a little heated, Speaker Owl tries to bring some order to the debate.
Good old owl.
It's funny how this, like,
Right.
fictional parliament mirrors our own
Totally.
human political systems.
It's like
Yeah.
these ecological issues, they are inherently political, right?
Right.
There's always competing interests,
Yeah.
different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
You need compromise and collaboration to find solutions.
Yeah.
That's true.
These minutes are just a clever way to show us
Right.
how those same dynamics play out in nature.
In the natural world.
Yeah.
And just as things seem to be calming down a bit,
Yeah.
Mr. Raccoon throws a wrench into the works.
Oh, boy.
But I think we'll save that for part 2.
You got to keep people on the edge of their seats.
Of our deep dive into the forest parliament.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to see how humor, resourcefulness, and a healthy dose of skepticism shape this debate as these animals try to figure out what to do about us.
About human actions.
Yeah. Humans.
So, welcome back to the deep dive.
Yes.
And
back to the forest parliament.
Back into the forest, where we left off.
Uh-huh.
Minister Raccoon was about to throw in his 2 cents.
Yeah. And I think 2 cents is, putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Raccoon's perspective really adds a lot of humor to these minutes.
Okay.
But he also brings up some really important questions.
Yeah.
About, like, consumption and, our waste and stuff.
Yeah. And he's not exactly thrilled with all the garbage.
Well, nobody likes garbage.
Right. Overflowing garbage heaps.
Right. But he finds a use for it.
Well, he does find some utility in all that discarded plastic.
Yeah. It's like one man's trash, another man's treasure.
Right.
But I think, Raccoon, even though he's kind of opportunistic, he sees the bigger problem.
Right.
All this plastic. It might be a good nesting solution.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But in the long run, it's not good.
Not good for the forest.
No. It's a threat to their health,
It's a stark reminder. Even the animals that seem to benefit from our waste are aware of the damage it causes.
They see it.
It makes you think about all this.
You wonder if anything should be disposable.
Yeah. The whole concept of disposable.
Yeah. Do we need all this stuff?
Right.
And where does it go?
When we're done with it.
These aren't just like philosophical questions. They have real consequences.
They have real world impacts on the environment.
Yeah.
These minutes, they're full of these little nudges.
Okay.
To rethink our relationship.
With the stuff.
Yeah, with all the stuff.
Right. The material world.
Exactly.
The speaker owl, bless his heart, tries to steer things.
We get back to the serious stuff.
Yeah, back to a more serious tone.
Right.
And just when it seems like they're about to descend into chaos, Minister Lyon steps in. Calls for a bit of introspection.
Okay.
Urging the animals to consider their own role in resource consumption.
Now, this is a really important moment.
Okay.
It shifts the focus.
Away from just blaming humans.
Yeah, it's not just us.
Right.
It's acknowledging that everyone has a responsibility for the health of the forest.
Okay.
And Lyon even points out the rabbits, how they have these modest appetites.
And he's saying that even within the animal kingdom, there's potential for unsustainable practices.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It is.
We often think of nature as perfectly balanced.
Yeah, all harmonious.
Right. But in reality,
it's not always like
every creature is trying to
survive.
Yeah, to thrive.
And sometimes that means taking more than their fair share.
It's a complex issue.
It really highlights the ethics of it all. Like when we talk about conservation, resource management, it's not just about protecting pristine wilderness. It's about figuring out how all species can live sustainably, within the limits of what we have.
Including humans.
Yeah, of course, including us.
So then Minister Beaver...
What does Beaver have to say?
He comes in with this surprising proposal.
What is it?
He suggests collaborating with humans.
Oh,
I know.
After all the complaints. Right after all that frustration.
Yeah.
The anger. It seems counterintuitive.
Totally.
But Beaver is a practical guy.
Yeah, he is.
And he sees the potential in harnessing human resources. Like their technology, their knowledge.
Oh, interesting.
To benefit the forest.
It's a radical idea.
It is. But it's also...
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they've been adapting to us for generations. Finding ways to survive.
Alongside us.
Yeah, maybe this is the next step.
Direct collaboration.
Even though it's risky.
Yeah.
But that brings up this question of power dynamics.
Yeah, can humans and animals really be partners.
On an equal footing.
Right?
Can we overcome our history?
Right. All the exploitation, our tendency to dominate nature.
It's a good question.
Speaker Owl, of course.
Voice of reason.
Right. Expresses skepticism. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Humans don't have the best track record. We've made some mistakes when it comes to the environment.
We've closed off forests, restricted habitats.
Not our finest moments.
Mismanaged resources.
Time and time again.
Right. So the animals are right to be wary of this collaboration.
They got to be cautious.
Even Minister Fox, who usually loves to stir the pot.
He likes to cause trouble.
He acknowledges the risk, but he also makes this point.
What's that?
The animals don't have a lot to lose.
At this point.
At this point.
Yeah, the status quo isn't working.
The forest is facing all this pressure.
From human activity.
And they're running out of options.
So this is like a last-ditch effort.
This collaboration.
It's a glimmer of hope.
Right. A chance to
take control.
Yeah. To shape their own destiny.
They're not just going to sit back and let things happen.
So despite the risks.
Yeah.
The parliament seems to be leaning towards
interesting.
Accepting Beaver's proposal.
Bold move.
They know they need to act to protect their future.
But they're not going into this blindly.
Right. They're going to engage.
Yeah, on their own terms.
On their own terms.
You're not going to let humans dictate everything.
And Minister Squirrel.
Oh, boy.
He's never been one to mince words.
No, he's very direct.
He actually threatens
to
lead a full-blown protest.
That's serious.
If humans try to take advantage of them.
So they're still holding some cards.
They control access to the forest.
Right.
All the resources.
The secrets.
They're not afraid to use that leverage.
They're going to make their voices heard.
It's a fascinating power shift.
Yeah.
From feeling like victims to realizing they can
take charge.
Active participants in shaping their own future.
They have agency.
It's empowering.
It really is.
But that brings us to the big question.
The big one.
Can this partnership
between humans and animals
actually work?
Can we bridge that gap?
Between our different worlds and find a way to coexist? Sustainably. That is the question.
And thankfully, the minutes offer some insights.
They do.
Into how this might be achieved.
Okay, tell me more.
But I think we should save those details for the final part.
Got to keep them coming back for more.
Of our deep dive.
Another cliffhanger.
Yeah.
To keep you on the edge of your seat.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're wrapping up our exploration of these Forest Parliament minutes.
It's been quite a journey.
And the animals are making a bold decision.
They are.
To collaborate with humans.
It's a big step.
On their own terms.
Right. It's risky.
It is, considering.
That historical power imbalance.
Yeah, but what I find really interesting is how they plan to leverage their strengths in this partnership.
They're not just asking for a handout.
They're bringing something to the table.
Exactly. They're talking about exchange.
Knowledge and resources. Yeah, the minutes specifically mention their deep understanding of the forest.
Yeah, generations of wisdom.
Yeah, about how these ecosystems work.
And it makes me think about this whole movement in conservation that's recognizing indigenous knowledge.
Both human and animal. There's this realization that traditional practices, they hold valuable insight.
Into sustainable living.
Yeah, the animals are the experts here. We could learn a lot from them.
And they know. They hold the power. The minutes highlight their control over access to the forest.
They control the resources.
The resources, the secret.
They're saying, hey, we have what you need. And we're not afraid to use it.
It's a shift.
It is
on perspective.
Yeah, instead of being victims, they're taking control.
They're recognizing their agency.
Exactly. They can shape the outcome.
It reminds me of this idea of ecological stewardship.
Where humans are caretakers.
Yeah. We're not trying to dominate anymore.
We're working alongside nature.
So it all comes back to this question.
The big one.
Can this partnership,
humans and animals,
actually work?
Can we bridge the gap
between our worlds
and coexist
sustainably?
That's what it all comes down to.
And the minutes don't leave us hanging.
Thankfully.
They offer some glimpses into how this might happen.
I'm all ears.
Communication is key.
Of course.
The animals know that humans misinterpret their signals.
We don't always get it.
Their needs, their warnings.
We need to listen better.
They're saying like, hey, we need ground rules.
Some guidelines.
We can't just assume what's best for the forest.
Without asking them.
Without listening to those who live there.
Right, the ones who really know.
They even suggest creating an interspecies council.
Wow.
Where animals and humans can meet regularly.
Yeah.
Share information.
Like decisions together. It's like a real-world forest parliament.
A real version of what we're reading.
It would require
a shift.
In thinking.
We'd have to acknowledge that animals have valuable perspectives.
That they deserve a seat at the table.
Exactly.
It challenges the anthropocentric view.
That humans are at the center of everything.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones that are.
We're not the only ones with a stake.
Right.
In the future of this planet.
And the minutes also talk about respecting boundaries.
Right.
The animals are not willing to sacrifice their needs.
For human convenience.
They're drawing a line.
They're saying, this is what we need.
Yeah.
To survive.
To thrive.
To maintain our way of life.
It's a powerful message.
It resonates with social justice movements, too.
Recognizing the value of all beings.
Regardless of species?
Exactly.
So this collaboration, it's ambitious.
It is.
But it's not naive.
They're being cautious.
Right.
But hopeful. They're willing to engage.
Yeah.
But they're also going to protect their interests.
That's smart.
The minutes end on a note of cautious optimism. It's going to be challenging.
Oh, yeah.
But it could also be
transformative.
Yeah. It's a call to action for all of us.
I think so.
This reminder that the future of our planet depends on us.
On all of us.
Finding a way to live
in harmony.
In harmony with the natural world.
That's the goal.
And maybe, just maybe, this forest parliament can be a blueprint.
A model.
A source of inspiration.
As we face the challenges.
Yeah, the challenges of the 21st century.
It's not going to be easy.
Who knows? Maybe someday we'll have a real life.
A real
interspecies council.
Where everyone has a voice.
Yeah, where all creatures.
Humans and animals.
Are heard and respected.
It's a vision worth striving for.
A reminder that a more just and sustainable world.
It's possible.
It is possible.
If we're willing to work for it.
If we're willing to change.
To listen to each other.
To the animals.
To embrace
the
interconnectedness.
Of all life.
Of all life.